You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. If you can hear me, let me see a message. Drop a message if you can hear me. If you can hear me, drop a message in the chat box. I want to see your message. Very good. Tomiwa, Temiti, Decency. Good evening. Good evening. You're welcome. Latifa, Anoleye, Boluwatife. Very good. You guys are welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. I'm sure you are ready to learn one or two things from tonight's class. Tonight's class is going to be an eye-opener for all of us. We're going to be learning. I'm going to be learning from the experts. She said I should not call her experts, that I should not whine her. But as far as I'm concerned, anybody that scores above 8.0 is an expert. Well, she scored 9.0. The only thing that makes her result, that makes my own IELTS result better than her own IELTS result is that I had two 9.0, but she had just one 9.0. But all the same, she did very well. He got her speaking score was better than my own speaking score. That's another thing that, that's one thing that made her results also better than my own. So we're going to learn from our IELTS crusher of the week. Let me unmute her, and then she's going to introduce herself. Let me unmute where are you, Skill Up Lab? Skill Up Lab, where are you? Okay, she has changed her name. All right.
Good evening, sir.
Hello, Darasimi, how you doing?
I'm very well, sir, and good evening, everyone, too.
You're welcome. Please, can you hear her? It's like they're not hearing you. Use your
Good
use your
evening,
spirit.
sir, and good
Use your
evening,
spirit
everyone.
voice.
My name is Darasimi.
Okay. You're welcome, Darasimi. So let me start by congratulating you. Okay. Congratulations on your achievements with high ELTS. You have
Thank you, sir.
done wonderfully well. I am impressed. In fact, if there's any word to use after impressed, I would love to use that word. I'm impressed. So we're going to be looking at a couple of things together. We want you to tell us one or two things that you did. Not one or two things. As many things as possible that you can tell us. We have about 40 minutes for this session. So I'm going to be asking a couple of questions. And then for those of you who are listening, if you have any question that you want to ask, feel free to type it in the chat box. Type it inside the Zoom chat, and then I will look at it and then I will ask. Okay. So let me just start with the question. So quickly, once again, Darasimi, you're welcome. So let me start with this question. Was it computer-based you did or paper-based? Let's start from there.
It was computer-based, sir.
Okay. So why did you opt for computer-based? A lot of people are scared of computer-based. That's why I'm asking the question. Why did you opt for computer-based? Why
Well,
not paper?
I reached out to you, obviously, to ask for the differences. And one thing that stood out for me was that there is a lesser chance for mistakes, for marking mistakes from the physical examiners. So if you are writing the paper-based, humans will be the ones to mark it. So it gives
Yeah,
less chance to human error.
that's true. That's true. So the chances of human error are significantly reduced for computer-based. Okay, so that was your
Yes,
major
sir.
reason. Okay.
Yes,
All
sir.
right. So can you tell us about your exam center? Some people have, many of the questions I will ask you, they'll be based on what people have said to me. Okay. So I want you to tell me something about your
Okay.
exam center. How was it? Did the computer crash? Was there a network problem or was there any issue like that in your center?
So for the speaking test, We had a bit of network issues because my examiner was not physically present. I don't know where he was, but we
Okay.
were conducting the interview via a Zoom call, right?
Okay.
And I didn't know that beforehand. So we had a bit of back and forth with network there, but then it stabilized. And I simply told him I wasn't listening to him and I wasn't hearing him anymore. I don't know if he heard me, but then I called the attendant that was attending to me, who was like the center's attendant, yeah,
Okay.
right? And
Like
then
the
she then
manager.
spoke to
Okay.
him to say, okay, so we started all over again like twice
Wow.
before we then stabilized.
Wow. Okay. So for the
But for
week,
the other parts,
okay, yeah.
nothing like that, nothing of such.
Nothing like that happened. Okay. So how many of you were in the center? Do you have an idea?
We were just two that took the exam at the same time, just two
Two.
of us.
Okay. Well, okay, let me say something about that. So
Yes, just two
you,
of us.
you took your exam during the week, am I right?
Yes, during the
You
week on
took
a
your exam on the, I
Wednesday
think I think it was
in the
on a Tuesday
morning.
or Wednesday.
A Wednesday
On a Wednesday.
on the
Okay.
13th.
So that's why you had just two people in the exam hall.
Yes.
So what happened is when I took my own exam, my exam was on the, I think it was on a Saturday, and we
Mm-hmm.
were many. We were about 20 to 30 in
Mm-hmm.
the exam hall. So usually if you take your exam during the week and it's computer based, you won't be many in the exam hall because majority of people are freer to do exams on weekends, on Saturdays. So, but and then
On
for computer
weekends.
based,
Okay.
many people don't opt for computer based. People prefer to do paper based. But then I'm beginning to encourage people. I want to be encouraging people to go for computer based now because I personally feel that it's more
Mm-hmm.
um it's better. Let me just put it that way. It's just better. Okay, so there's a question here.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody is saying, for the writing, how were you able to meet up? I don't understand the meaning of meet up. I don't know. I don't know whether you understand Darasimi. How were you? The person says, for the writing, how were you
If
able to
I'm
meet up?
correct, if I'm correct, I think that person is asking about timing. Am I correct?
Okay, maybe timing. Yeah, in terms of timing, how
Okay.
many minutes
So
did you
let me
spend on the
so let
writing?
me assume that it's timing. Okay, he said yes. So we were given 60 minutes in total, both for the task one and the task two. By the way, I wrote the general test,
IELTS general.
right? So I had
Okay.
my own task one to be the letter
Okay. Hello, Darasimi. Can you hear me?
spending around 45,
Okay.
45. I was only spending around 45 minutes. I can hear you, but I think there's a lag.
All right, go ahead. Just go ahead. Go ahead. Go
Can you
ahead.
hear me now? Okay. So I was spending about 45 minutes on the task two. So what I did was that once we were given the once we opened the writing section, I spent the first 20 something minutes on the what's it called now, on task one. I'm sorry, coach. I know you always say we should do tasks two first, but I
So
don't
you
know. I
started
shall
with
did
tax
my task
one.
one. Yes,
Okay.
I did.
All
But then
right.
I knew that I knew that I had a bit of a, I knew I had not mastered writing my task two under 40 minutes. So what I did was that I was watching the time and I was doing my task one. Once I
Okay.
hit the 20-minute mark, I knew that I had to round up whatever I was writing because I knew I was pushing the limit, right?
Okay. So there was a timer on your computer. You were seeing the time.
Was Yes, I was seeing the time. Yes, I
Okay.
was seeing the time. So I was always doing opinion essay, disadvantage and disadvantage, but it was the same format. I had read coach's that book, that 6-5 essay book that coach gave us, and it was the same format, paragraph one, introduction, paraphrase the question, paragraph two, paragraph three, and then your conclusion. So I wrote
Sorry,
the
hold
so I
on.
was
Let
seeing
me
the
let me
time as
interrupt a little bit here. So that essay book that I gave to you guys during the class, did you read all the essays in that book?
Not all of them. I only picked like two, three examples per one.
Okay, you picked
And I
two
was I also
essay,
mastered the
two examples per essay type. So let's say two cause and effect essay,
per essay
two
type.
okay, two cause and effect essay, two cause and
Yes,
solution
sir.
essay, two opinion essay, two discussion
Yes,
essays.
sir.
That was what you did, right?
Yes, sir.
Wow. So you studied
Yes,
them
sir.
like that.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. So let me
Yes, sir.
there's a concern with computer based. Some people say they are not fast with typing. What do you have to say for people like that? If somebody says I'm not fast with typing, how can we encourage that kind of person to study
Well,
for computer based?
I mean, apart from what you always say to say practice more, I don't
Mm-hmm.
think I mean, I don't think I know how to help such a person because that's a skill. Typing fast is a skill that, um, if anybody knows how to type fast, the person would have known how to type fast before this time around. But if you cannot type fast and you know that you can't, you can't build that skill within the 30 days or 15 days that you have left to your exam,
You go for
just go
paper
straight for
based.
your paper-based,
That's
yes.
good. That's good. All right. So it's about practice. Let me say it to everybody. It's important that you practice. If you want to improve your typing skills, take the time to practice typing. Okay? Practice typing, practice writing essays. The major area where typing might be an issue is with the writing. So practice doing essay writing and then set your timer and just do it. Just practice doing it. With time, you will
Yes, sir.
get used to it. With time, you get used to it. Okay, so for your reading, let's talk about reading. You had bad 9.0 in reading. That's 40 over 40, Darasimi. 40. You didn't even give IELTS maybe like 1 mark. Say, okay, take 1 mark. You
Oh
took
wow. Oh
everything.
well. To be honest, I was not expecting a band nine on reading. I was
Wow.
just gunning for getting 38-ish, 37,
38. You were
38.
expecting 38.
Yeah, because
Which question were you not sure of? Was it a
I
passage one question or
one of
passage
the
two or
true
passage
false
three?
questions. No. It was one of the true false questions. I had
Okay.
written a wrong answer before, and then I went. So for my reading, I had more than enough time. I had about 15 minutes extra. So
Wow.
there
15.
was one that I was not sure about. I had to go back and read again. So I was not particularly expecting than more so because I had a little bit of an issue with true false not giving questions, particularly the questions that you decide whether you don't know whether it's either false or not given. During my practice, I fell easily into that trap quite often, and I was worried about it, right? But for some reasons, I just went back to that particular question and changed my answer. That was before the
Okay.
time was.
So assuming you did not change your answer, you'll have gotten 39. That's what
I
I'm
would have
thinking.
gotten
And
yes, sir.
that would have been 8.5.
Yes, sir.
Wow. Wow, wow. So you finished your IELTS reading in about 45 minutes.
To conclude on the other guy's question about timing, I finished my task two about 3 seconds before the time was up. So I was watching the time. I think that's the conclusion
Wow.
of to that guy's answer. I was watching the
For the
time. I made sure
writing.
that my eyes, yes. At the same time, I was not stressed out. I was watching it, but I didn't allow it stress me out. I knew I was going to finish. Yeah.
Okay. So, did you try doing copy and paste? Does copy and paste work on the computer?
Copy and paste from where to where, sir?
I don't know. Somebody is asking that, did you do copy and paste? I know that copy and paste doesn't work. I tried it on during my exam. It did not work. So I'm asking you, did you try it? Did it work? I mean, maybe to copy and paste something. Maybe from the question to the space where you're going to type in your answer. Did you try to copy and paste anything?
I would waste more time than it would take you to type just one word.
Okay, it wastes more time. Okay, but I know that you are not you won't be able to copy and paste because that feature was disabled during my own exam. So I don't think they would
Wow.
enable it for anybody. Copy and paste cannot work. There's another feature that people do. You can't leave the interface of the whatever. You can't go to Google to go and say you want to search for something. You can't do any other thing.
Oh,
Just on that, that's exam interface. That's the only thing you would see. So,
hmm.
let me ask another question about reading. From your reading
Yes, sir.
practices, how many reading tests did you do? Did you practice before your exam day? How many? Can you remember?
Oh, I can't say, but I'm sure that I did, if not 40 and above, to be very, very close.
Wow. So you solved more than 40.
I think so. It's going if it is not more than 40, then it's going to be very close to 39, 40-ish.
Wow. What was your lowest score in your practice? What was your lowest score?
For my reading, the very first one, I had 29. I had 20
29.
in the very
How
first
did you
one, yeah.
feel? How did you feel after scoring 29?
Well, I felt like it can't be me because I like
It
English
can't be
because I'm like,
yours.
it can't be my score. It can't
Interesting.
be my. Then
So,
I did another one and then I got 31 and then
okay.
it improved from there.
So what was your highest score in your practice?
40. I
You
had
had
40 a
40 how
couple.
many times?
Maybe like 5 times,
Wow.
5 to 6 times.
40, you had 45 times. Ah, that's why you had
Mm.
band 9. That is why you had one. That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. So in your during the course of your preparation, what was your biggest fear? Was it listening or reading or writing or speaking? Which one was your biggest fear?
Writing,
Writing.
writing, hands down, writing, and that's the one that I had the lowest score. Yes, sir.
Why were you scared of writing?
I really don't know. I had that phobia, and if you remember, I even told you about it that I am not confident about my writing at all. I
Okay.
mean, I would have finished writing, and I would have thought that I wrote very well. And I think one of the first things was that I started with I started scoring my essays with ChatGPT, right? And ChatGPT would give me, oh God, ChatGPT would wash me down. I would feel very bad.
Wow.
And
So
then I think my last essay before the exam, I sent to coach and coach gave me a 6.5 and I was crying. I could not do this. I can't do this.
somebody told me, let me tell you something. Somebody told me that Coach Tayo, this your marking. You are too strict. You are stricter than
Yes,
IELTS
you are.
examiners.
Yes,
And I'm
you
like,
are.
if I'm not strict, how will you people be serious with your writing? I can't be giving you 7.5 and 8.0. If I
Mm,
see any, this is what I do. If I mark your essay and I see any mistake in a paragraph, let's assume your essay has 4 paragraphs now. Okay.
mhm.
For me to give you 8.0 overall, that means that there's no mistake at all in paragraph 1. There's no mistake at all in paragraph 2. There's no mistake at all
Wow.
in paragraph 3. There's no mistake at all in paragraph 4. That's what will make me give you 8.0. I can't even give you 9.0 if that's the situation. 9.0 is for
Wow.
IELTS examiners. That one, it's above my pay grade. Okay. So if I don't see any mistake at all, and if I read somebody's essay and I don't see a mistake, I will leave that essay. I will check it the following day to be sure that there must be a mistake somewhere. No, 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 not possible. There must be a mistake. You understand? So if I see a mistake, if I see one mistake, that score drops to 7.5. If I see two
Wow.
mistakes, that score drops to 7.0. And then after 7.0, I will now relax. I will now become a little bit more lenient.
Wow.
Just to, I
Wow.
mean, let people know that, okay, learn to go through your essays after writing. Go through your essays to identify mistakes. So on your exam day, were you able to correct one or two things for your writing?
So what happened? The issue I ran into on my exam day during writing was that I I couldn't develop my second point on time. So I had a double question essay, and the question says, give 2 reasons why this factor, whatever story they were asking for, was happening.
Okay.
And then if it was a positive or a negative development. And I
Okay.
was asking for 2 reasons, not two, it said reasons. So I knew I had to give more than one reason. But I
Okay.
only had one reason for question one and one reason for question two in my notes already. I could not find any other points in my head to write on. So I started writing on those things first, right?
Okay.
So I started developing the second point, like 7 minutes into the time, and that was what took most of my time. So like I said, I knew I was not good with time right from my practice. So I knew that I most likely would not have time to check after. after coach has already warned us, I still did not listen. So I made sure that I was correcting as I was going all
As
along
you
the
were
way.
okay, as you were writing. So after writing a
As I
paragraph,
was
you will check.
writing, I would check fast. I would check
Hmm.
quickly to check for particularly commas and
Semicolon.
my semicolon, my comma. I know I make sure, so because I didn't know. I knew, but I wasn't too sure about when and when not to use semicolon. So I avoided using semicolon. And
Hmm.
I instead I would use that hyphen dash. So I'm trying to imagine those kind of statements that you want to put inside a bracket. And I remember coach had said
Don't
we
use
shouldn't use
brackets.
bracket.
Don't use
Yeah, so I
brackets.
would put a dash, an hyphen in front of the before the sentence and after the sentence, and then a space bar.
Okay. Okay, let me ask another question. Somebody's probably thinking that you have done IELTS before. Let's clarify that. Have you done IELTS before? Ah, I can't hear you again. No. Are you with me? Wow. Who can hear me? Is anybody hearing me?
We can hear you now, sir. I can hear
Okay,
you
you
now,
can
sir.
hear me now. All right. So, I was asking, have you done IELTS before, or this is your first time?
No, this is my first time.
Wow, this is your first time of taking IELTS. This is interesting.
Yes,
So,
sir.
were you afraid of failure?
Very, very.
Very. So, when did the fear of failure,
Very, very.
when did it become, when did it first show up? Was it before you registered or after you registered for the exam? Or can you tell us like the time? At what time did
I,
that fear become something of
I
concern?
think first, okay, so shortly before okay, as I was practicing, I think I had like say it was before I registered, and
Okay.
then it was when I started practicing, particularly when I started practicing with writing. I don't know where the fear for writing came. I just had fear for writing. So writing was my weakest suit, was my weakest point, and that was what was making me scared, particularly.
Okay.
But listening YouTube question, and then it took me back to scoring 24. I was afraid. I had to tell coach that I saw YouTube question and it's not easy and all of those things. But those fears were really, really baseless. So the
Okay.
fear
So,
started like before I registered my
okay.
writing, yes.
Okay. Okay. So let's say something about that YouTube issue. Some people believe that they can go through YouTube videos and all these YouTube stuffs and use that to prepare for IELTS. Well, I personally have reservations about that. What do you think? Do you think YouTube can be of, can somebody pass IELTS based on YouTube only?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so because YouTube doesn't really explain why this reason is why this answer is so, right?
Hmm. Okay. So there are some things they will not explain on YouTube for you. Hmm.
Which questions that were given during the classes. Yes. So, but I don't think, like I said, I think they just put fear in me. And like 2 days to my exam, I went back to my regular Cambridge, Cambridge questions.
Practice.
I had finished the Cambridge ones, the ones that, um, the ones that we were given on on that Thinkific website, the Cambridge 11, 12, 13, 14, and all of that. And
Okay.
then I then went on to the ones on the practice. Hello, sir.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. So,
Coach, can you hear me? Can anybody hear me?
yeah, I'm hearing you. Can you hear me? Are you with
Okay,
me?
okay. Yes, I can hear you now, sir.
All right. So, what were your major distractions? What were your major distractions during this process of preparing for IELTS? And then how were you able to deal with those
Mm,
distractions? Can you give us some insight into that?
You mean distractions while solving questions during my practice time?
Yes, distractions while solving questions. Distraction, daily distractions. For example, let me give you a scenario. Some of my students are nursing mothers. Okay? Being a nursing mother is a major distraction for IELTS. Do you understand that? Some of them work, okay? They run shifts and having to go to
Hello.
work. By the time they come back from work, they are so tired,
Okay.
they will not be able to practice. You
So
understand? So, what was the situation for you?
classes and study on our study group sessions, I'll just say, guys, I'm sorry, I won't be able to do classes today. I think I was just mentally tired together with work responsibilities. But they
Hmm.
encouraged me and said, and they were like, no, we need to start classes again. So we stopped for like a couple of times and we then picked up later on. So I think having a study group helped me a lot because I knew that I had the responsibility to come online every night p.m. to take sessions and to learn from my study buddies as well.
So, how many people,
So
sorry,
the
how many
mental
people were in that your
tiredness of having
study
to
group?
prepare for an exam. We were just three, just myself, Elizabeth, and Olanike.
Wow. So, are the three of you met yourself inside that master class group or where?
So I'm not sure. So it was not in our own master class. In fact, I
Okay.
think we were in different master classes because they were not in my own initial master class.
Okay.
So I reached out, if I remember, I reached out to you to ask for names of people who, yes, yeah.
Okay. 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 That's wonderful. So, let me see. What else do I want to ask? So in terms of exams, preparing for IELTS, how long would you recommend? Some people say 1 month.
Mhm.
Some people say 2 months. Some people say 3 months. Some people do this exam in 2 weeks. In terms of timing, what would you recommend for people? How long should somebody
Well, some people do. So I would say before you ask how long, the first thing is to know what level you are at before you then determine, okay, how long it's going to take you to do a complete study. I actually do know somebody who wrote it in about 2 to 3 weeks. But I'm not sure what the person got, but I think the person got over seven, over a band seven overall, right?
wow.
But the person, don't forget, the person was just leaving school. The person was just graduating from school, right? So it's not
Oh,
like the person has been at home or is working. The person was not working. The person had like 8 hours a day to
wow.
study
That's a factor.
and,
Mm,
push through.
that's a
While
major
other people
factor.
were getting jobs or were applying for jobs, he doubled down and studied like 8 hours a day. In fact, when I was studying, I heard about that he wanted to start while I was studying. And by the time I was hearing that he had written it, I was still studying for my own. So first things first, know what level you are at with your listening, what with all of the modules and know where your weak points are. But on an average, I'll say 2 to 3 months, right? I'll say a 2 to 3 months. Anything that is, if you are going past 3 months, you might be pushing it and then be forgetting what you've
Some of the
learned
things
before,
you've learned.
unless you are studying every day.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so let me see. I'm looking at my records now. So let me give a background to this question I want to ask. So earlier in the year, our master classes used to be they used to involve WhatsApp chats and voice notes. Okay. But in September, we decided to start doing video classes. Now,
Hmm.
interestingly,
Yeah.
Darasimi was in one of those WhatsApp classes. I hope you remember.
Hmm.
And then later, you now decided to
Yes,
join
sir.
the
The April
video.
one.
You now decided to join the video class. So let's compare the two. Which one do you think is
Yes.
more effective? Which one do you think, if you want to advise me to maintain one, which one do you advise me to maintain? The WhatsApp one that will be involving WhatsApp voice notes and whatever, or the video classes? Which one do you think is better?
And now is the video one, hands down. Or should I say the main reason I'm saying once where you link, you put the lessons learned
Okay.
on the Thinkific website. It's
Okay.
easier to go back and rewatch those videos. I think that was one of the things that helped me as well. But for the listening, the voice notes on WhatsApp, I found it hard to go back, right? Because there are lots of words and messages that would have gone over one voice note, right? So
Okay.
before I'm looking for the next voice note, I'm having to scroll through several messages to get to the next voice note.
Hmm.
And if I'm listening to one voice note, one on the website with the videos, one video links to the other video. So once one video is stopping, the next video is starting.
That's
But with the
immediately.
WhatsApp voice notes, that is not the case because I have to scroll through, unless such voice notes were sent um, immediately after one another. I have to scroll through lots of messages.
Wow, network is really messing up here. Ah, my. I don't know what's happening with network in my village today. So, Darasimi, I want to believe that you said a lot of things while I was away. The network is really good. So, let's give a final, what's it called now? Should I call it final remark or something before we wrap it up? Okay? Darasim, are you with me? Are you there? Okay, let me unmute you. Okay, can you hear me now? Can anybody hear me? If you can hear me, let me see your message. Drop a message if you can hear me. If you can hear me, please drop a message. Let me see. Let me know whether whether you are hearing me. All
I'm
right.
so sorry. I didn't know my laptop was muted.
Okay. Okay. No problem. Network is very poor on this side of town too. But it's okay. So let's give a closing remark or a closing charge. Okay. So what would you say to somebody who has done IELTS before and the person did not pass?
Hello.
Hello, can you hear me, Dara?
Okay, I can hear you now.
All right. So I was saying that what would you say to encourage somebody who has done IELTS before? We have people that have done IELTS 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, but then reading is a problem, or speaking is a problem, or writing is a problem. Listening is hardly a problem. So what would you say to encourage people like that? What strategy or word of encouragement do you have for them? Let's wrap it up on that note.
Issue with each one of those. Okay, so first thing I would say is for some people it could be that uh, yeah, it could be that interpreting the passage in their own way, right? Insinuating what they put. So identify the issue and try to create a strategy to work around the issue and solve more questions on the ones that is giving you the most issue. At the same time, don't neglect the ones that are your strong suits as well. So at least practice everything every day. Practice all of the modules every day, but try to focus more on the ones where you have the weaknesses in, right? So that would be my own advice for anyone who has written it a number of times.
Much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So I'm going to wrap it up on that note tonight, everybody. I want to believe that we've learned one or two things from this conversation. Network has not really done well for me on this side, but then I was able to pick a lot of things from this interaction. So this will happen again and again. There's another batch of students I'm taking now. By the time their results, there are like two or three of them that are taking exams this month, and I'm believing that one of them should be able to get an outstanding score like Darasimi, and they were going to do another session like this and learn from that person. Meanwhile, Darasimi is going to get a prize money. Some people do not believe that we are going to give you that money, Dara. So what we are going to do is this. I want you to send me your account details, send it to me on WhatsApp, and then we're going to send you the money, and
Okay,
I'm going
sir.
to send the proof of prize giving. So people don't, I don't know why they don't believe. This is real. If you get band 9, ladies and gentlemen, if you are with me, if you join our master class and you do all the assignments and all the exercises, and eventually you take the exam and you get band 9 in any of the module, you are going to be given a gift of 99K by Coach Tayo. That's guaranteed. Okay, that offer is available for 3 people. Darasimi has taken 1. I have 2 more slots, and those 2 slots will be, available till the end of December 2024. By next year, we're going to come up with something else. But at least between now and December ending, you can join any of our classes. We have the November class going on. You can join. The December class starts on December 3. You can join that. So take advantage of it. Let it be an extra motivation. I just had to come up with it to motivate people. And I believe it's going to help a lot. So once again, thank you very much for joining us in this class. I'm going to try and see if I can do a recording, share a recording of this session, and I will post it on YouTube for everybody to view so that we can go through it again and refresh all the things that we have talked about. So once again, thank you, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your day. Darasimi, thank you once again. Enjoy the rest of your day. I wish you all the best in your endeavor.
Thank you very much, sir.
All right.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for having me too.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night, sir.